we have to find a way to continue to have the interest in people to understand their insanity. And that's another thing. We're normalizing this insanity of, I seen a guy that was from working at CNN. He broke down on camera. And I so appreciated that because he's like, I know that I'm going to do another one of these this year. What will it take for people to recognize that this is not normal? This shit is not normal, right? I remember the normal used to be like, I used to tell my kids when I worked in the hood, hearing gunshots at night is not normal. There's a kid in Wisconsin who would never hear that, right? But now, what I have to tell my kids that, yo, be careful, keep your head on the swivel because anybody can shoot the shit up at any point in time. That is insane.
You're now tuned in.
You're now tuned in.
You are now tuned in.
You're now tuned in.
You are now tuned in
to the Juxtaposition Podcast.
Welcome to episode 75 of the Juxtaposition Podcast, aka the Extraordinary Nobodies, aka the Starting Five, aka the Five Heartbeats, aka Four Hubbards in the Possible, aka the Positivity Podcast. I'm your host, Arsenio Hall. Yeah, man, and we are here with the trio. You know what I mean? The Harlem Juxtrotters. That's what Zoe was at yesterday.
Follow Fizzle.
Yeah. Any fizzle at this point seems like Jabot jeans. It just don't fit. Like
it's very 04, 05, 06 ish.
Right. Mm-hmm. Like any Izzo is like we can probably scale back on that. I'm gonna get right to it, man. There was a great event that happened this past weekend that I wasn't able to go to, but in short, I would love to hear about how your baby shower went, Cleveland.
The baby shower was dope. The baby shower was such a great time, man. It was good food. It was good people. Our friend's wife held down the decorations. It looked beautiful. Lots of pictures. Too many pictures to post, but it was just a great time.
Can we shout out her business?
Absolutely. Inner Voices Events. Inner Voices Event Decorations is the
good
name
old
of it.
Adrian.
Yeah.
Yes, Mrs. Henry.
Yeah, she held it down.
Miss Henry.
She held it down.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get. Never mind. I ain't got no. I was gonna get some claps. So do I got some claps? I got some. These claps is weak as hell. These claps is weak as hell.
Yo, that's the TV show claps where they point to you like, come on.
Yeah, like please.
No,
please
that's the TV show claps when the rapper appears in the episode. Like, and they turn around
and he just
Biggie's
there
in episode, just absorbing all the claps until his lines come in. Nah, but it was a great time, bro. It was fun. It was just a lot. I'm tired, but
I feel
it's
that.
all good. Yeah.
I mean, you're taking off again in a couple of days. The one question I was going to ask you, then we can like shift gears, is was wifey happy about having a baby shower in New Jersey?
I just asked him that. Yes,
okay.
She was. It worked out because all of our other events when it came to the wedding were in Boston. So like most of my people had to go up there, and this was our first time having something in New Jersey, and it was great, man. She still had a good solid turnout from her folks. But then there's still people who don't read the invitation. They texting us like, "Yo, where's the Zoom link?" Like, nah, there's no Zoom link. Somebody actually went to the initial venue where it was supposed to be at, which is good brother Zoe's house, and text us like, yo, ain't nobody here. Like, yeah.
I put a sign on the door too. Like, I put a sign like the venue has changed too, and I put the address and everything. Man.
Oh, you Caddyshacked it?
Sure did. I was like, listen,
it was necessary.
Because I already know how black people get. They
and I sent 2 reminders, bro. I sent 2 reminders like leading up to it. Like the address is boom, boom, boom. Still no.
Yeah. You know how it go. You gotta have that thing in the subject line.
Listen,
attention required.
Bro, I'm guilty. I ain't gonna lie though, because I RSVP'd the day of.
Definitely.
Yo, my man, how is that possible?
Even though the venue was supposed to be at my house.
But you know how when you go somewhere and you just include people, kids, like they don't got an RSVP. They coming with you. You know what time it is.
Like add 4, nigga. Add 4. You know I'm coming. It's not even a question. Like let's go.
Same. And my cousin was an equal offender because he never RSVP'd and he brought his whole tribe. Yeah, Craig got 4 boys.
Dog.
Like Craig, you don't come here and take some goddamn
Craig
pictures.
Boys, shout out to Craig, but Craig Boys is like when George Foreman was like, George, I'm like,
Oh, my
damn.
God.
They all not the same name, but it was just so many. And I was like, yo, bro, do you realize how many kids you got?
Yeah, you got
What
4
is it?
boys.
Craig Jr., Craigina.
Nah, they all got different names.
Craig Nice.
They all got different names, but and they all got honestly, they all have completely different personalities too. Like one is more outgoing, one is like just quiet, the other one's a baby. But yeah, man, it was a good time.
Shout out to you and the wifey. I'm glad y'all were able to make it happen. I'm still sick that I wasn't able to be there because this stuff makes it hard when you live so far. But I got a chance to catch up with good brother Kev and his wife. Went out to, I would say brunch, but it was like Friday at like 3 p.m. We went and grabbed some food, had some mimosas.
Was it Leonard?
It was Leonard, yeah, for sure. It was definitely Leonard. But it was good to catch up with Kev. Like strangely, first of all, I haven't seen Kev's wife since probably like 5 years ago, which sounds strange. It doesn't
Really?
make sense. She threw a Kev surprise birthday party in LA, or surprise like little thing in LA, and I flew down there, but I don't think I've seen her since then. And I was like, bro, it sounds insane. But I haven't seen Kev since 2019. No, I seen Kev. No, I'm lying. No, we seen him for the episode.
We seen it for the episode, the in-person
For the episode.
That
Oh
was,
yeah.
yeah.
Was it. But it seems so far like long ago.
Still
though.
crazy. But yeah, had a great weekend. How about you, Zoe?
Well, first of all, I want to shout out both the wives and Mrs. Beelan because she kept everything together, and I want to thank their Uber driver for getting them from the airport at like 2 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Their Uber driver thugged out and got them from Newark Airport.
Who's that? You?
Damn right. I don't know why this Negro decided he fucked up. He had 2 party fouls or human fouls. He flew Spirit.
Whoa.
that's a whole
Right?
nother story.
Now with your beloved baby on deck.
Thank you. Like, yo,
Oh, my
dog.
Lord.
I said I don't even know how you
Never
still
again.
married. I don't even know how you still married. And then-
Never again.
Then he gonna fly to Newark knowing everybody live in South Jersey now. Like I moved, bro. I don't
Hold
even live
on,
up
hold
north
on.
no more.
Hold on. For the record, I got your back here, Cleveland. Philly is expensive to fly into these days.
Really?
It is,
It's
bro.
crazy,
it is,
bro.
It's not.
Or
Number
maybe
one,
it's
they
not-
don't,
crazy.
It's cheaper to fly out of though.
right, but to fly into it, and they don't have as many direct flights. So I
Yeah,
can't
especially-
co-sign you flying Spirit, but I can co-sign you flying to Newark.
To
I
Newark.
will. I would.
All right, I give
do
him a
it again.
pass on the cutting the price, but he went a little too far with the cheap shit, right? 'Cause-
Yeah.
He did. He
Never-
did. You spend a couple
We didn't
of racks
save
on
yo,
a baby
we
shower
didn't
though.
save nothing. We saved no money flying Spirit. You get charged for everything. You
Everything.
get charged to pick your seat. You get charged if you have a carry-on bag.
Listen,
Then we
and
checked the
and
bag.
he messed up.
We
he
saved
messed
no
up
money.
because he was like, "Oh, she pregnant." They was like, "Oh, you gotta pay an extra ticket." So you know,
Yo, all right, boom. Here's what we're gonna do, Cleveland. If you had an opportunity to tell Spirit your message
Okay.
right now, what would you tell
Oh,
Spirit
Lord.
right now?
I will tell Spirit, first of all, you've lost the customer. I will never fly Spirit again.
a customer.
I think y'all need to give y'all staff customer service training. Maybe y'all not paying them enough. I don't know, but they clearly don't care because nobody even told us what was going on while we were delayed for 6 hours.
6
I think
hours.
6. We were supposed to take off at 4:22 p.m. We took off at 10 p.m.
Which is
Yeah.
why the Uber
Let's have
driver
a moment of
came
have a
clutch.
moment of silence. And you know, Spirit is it Spirit that wants to be sold? Has near.
I thought they was bought, or didn't they
They're
merge
trying
with
to
Frontier? already?
merge with like Frontier,
But
trying to merge with JetBlue.
They
I
on
think
the
both
block.
of them were blocked.
They on the yeah.
They
I
holding
think
on the block.
JetBlue was going to buy them, and it was like no. We want to.
Cause they got to get rid of the whole staff. They got to throw the whole baby away. Like,
I mean, all they want is the planes. Throw
So-
everything else away.
but anyway, yes, clip this, AJ. But at the end of the day, I had a great weekend. I saw my line brother. I saw Gabe, my other line brother, and I just had an interesting weekend. Like just family, friends, busy, kids, basketball, the whole 9 yards. My daughter Amber won her first basketball game. It was supposed to be on
Hey, shout
a
out.
buzzer beater, and guess who's the coach? Boom. right here.
Cleveland.
Nope. And shout out to my pops, who's the assistant coach. Yeah, I got dad as assistant.
Yeah,
coach.
Mike Brown. Mitch Brown.
There you go. Yeah. He's like, all right, I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna let you get your shine for a little bit. But it was a buzzer beater game that we won, but then the refs called it off, which pissed me off because I'm like, you can't call off and say no basket and you ain't got no replay. Like, it's kids, bro. They in 4th grade. Just say they won the game. Like, what's
Let them have their moment.
He getting his reps in because he trying to figure out how he gonna do it when he get to the NBA. Refs got dreams too, bro.
All right, well, I don't got time for his dreams, and neither do my kids. So at the end of the day, we wind up like winning. Mind you, it was overtime, and the score was 12-12 in overtime.
Sheesh.
They little kids, but we won 18-12 because they ain't scored no points in overtime, and we just ran them. Like, yo, let's go. So. Shout out to my kids. And my daughter Ava scored her first goal this year for soccer.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so look at that. That's fire.
Hey.
That's amazing.
So that was my weekend. It was kids friendly, baby showers, the whole 9 yards, and I'm about to go get snipped so I don't be next.
So I also want to shout out Morgan for the thankful, the helpful feedback, because we're gonna be taking that into consideration from now on for the rest of the career of the podcast.
Yes.
But I do want to make a hard left to discuss the things that we want to talk about this week. For those of you who may not know, and I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast, you already do, there was a tragic shooting in Buffalo, New York, this past Friday, about a week ago, if you're listening now, if you're listening live. And there was a white supremacist, I'm not even going to say his name, who went to a black neighborhood to take 10 lives. Most of the folks everybody was shopping at a grocery store called Tops, and it was intentional that this person went to this specific place, and a lot of the people are elders, like 40, 50, 60 years old, grandmothers, aunties, wives that have been with their husbands for 50 plus years. It's unfortunate, and on this podcast is about 2 years old. We've covered everything from the pandemic on, and if you notice in the summer, we die, bro. In the summer, it's so strange the frequency by which, when the temperature turns up a little bit, how much the violence does as well. But there's an interesting phenomenon that happens when it comes to violence and black people, and that's what we're going to discuss today. And it's about black forgiveness. There's always an aspect of we forgive the offender. We are Bible thumpers. We are very much quick to attribute everything to what it's supposed to be and how God is supposed to look out for us. But I want to kind of dissect, why do we forgive so easily when tragedy happens to us time and time and time again? Zoe, you wanted to say something?
Well, first I want to say, in the great words of 50 Cent, in the hood, summertime is the killing season, and it's hot out this bitch, and that's a good enough reason. So we have a lot of freaking issues. It's something about the energy, the aura, the hot. You've been cooped up all winter because you go in and out. I don't know what it is, but it's not just in the hood. Like, that's even for the professionals that are supposed to be trained professionals as well. They get more action, so they on their Call of Duty shit, like where they like, all right, cool.
And you make a good point. I don't want to deviate too far, but like you saw the humanity by which the police treated this person with when they just killed 10 people.
Don't get how that consistently happens.
Every time, no matter what city.
I don't understand how it consistently happens. When you look at Dylan Roof, like who was found
the Burger King
and taken to go get some food, it's like, why do we get killed while sleeping in our beds, while reaching for a wallet or a cell phone, but armed
Skittles.
shooters?
What else is there? Looking at property.
It's crazy.
It's insane, man. And I told the guys that, on Monday, so I think the tragedy happened Friday or Saturday. Monday morning of this week.
I think it was Saturday.
So on Saturday, I was just sad, bro. Like, I really feel like I don't get sad very often, but I think the compounding factors of what's happening with the world, like there's a tremendous amount of pressure and anxiety that comes with trying to be a decent human in the world, but also dodging all the other idiots that are doing things to make other people happy. But there's also there's a lot of propaganda that happens from people who probably don't even believe the things that they're saying, that are influencing the people who actually do believe the things that they're saying, and they're taking people's lives. And there's no accountability for those people either. So instead of trying to just paint this broad stroke of like black pain and things that are happening to us, I do want to focus on why do you? So Cleveland, I'll start with you. Why do you feel as if one of our number one things to go to after tragedy is forgiveness?
I don't know. I think it's counterproductive though, because I think in trying to jump to forgiveness, I think that further kind of dehumanizes us. Like, yeah, you just beat me up, you just killed me, but no, we cool. It's all good. We forgive you. And that's not even human to forgive someone of such a heinous act so quickly. To me, it's at that point, it's only words. You don't truly forgive somebody. Yo, I'm looking at the pictures of these victims who were murdered by this man, and these are people. A lot of older folks, and there were some younger folks in there, but I don't forgive you if you just killed my grandma who was going to the store to go shopping right after it happened. That's not even a reasonable thing to say. I don't know what picture people try to paint by throwing out this word of forgiveness so quickly. But it's not true forgiveness. It takes a long time to forgive people of things and then not hold on to it. So you can't tell me that someone can truly forgive someone right after it happened and it be genuine. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why that.
But why you just reminded me of something, and I want to get your point on this too. I think that when you think about what slavery has done to us in terms of with our captors, people have heard of Stockholm Syndrome. But when you think about how slave owners were using the Bible to justify the actions by which were happening to our people, it may be ingrained somewhere deep where you just are forgiving of the people who do such heinous things to you over and over and over. And it boggles my mind why we are in love with the opinions of white people who have continuously done these things way more than we've done them to each other, and just continue to I don't know, man. It's a lot. Like it's so deep. It's so real. And I don't forgive none of these motherfuckers for none of this shit. I don't forgive. What are we forgiving you for? For you to do it again? If you are an offender if you break the law, you go to jail. You don't break the law. So you know what, bro? I know you didn't mean it. I forgive you.
No. If we break the law, we go to jail. And that's the distinct difference of the two, because you hit the nail on the head. You know where I was going with it. Whenever y'all know me as a person, whenever there's a problem, I can't look at the actual problem. I have to look at the root of the problem, where it started. Because as much as you cut it, the branch is still going to keep growing back, because you never took care of the root.
Right.
They never took care of the root. And the root stems from that slavery where we, honor thy master. They pretty much twisted the words and had us believe. Remember, this is not our form of religion. This was a trained and taught behavior. And all we did was keep teaching it, indoctrinating our families with it. And because of that, we always say like the phrases, the let go and let God, and he got control,
Right.
And don't get it twisted. I'm no antichrist. I do believe there is a God and a higher power.
Right.
I just don't believe that
he wants to continue to keep turning.
Yeah, we supposed to just be all right. Like, nah, because even then, his only begotten son, as they say, in the description was a black man. I don't care what nobody say. The description is the description, and the white man wrote the Bible, and for a white man to write the Bible and say he looked like one of us, that's it. It is what it is, right?
For the record, that's the only time y'all gonna hear is they'll say he believed the white man. For the record, but keep going.
Yeah, that was it. But I don't understand. I don't know that. I don't think that the purpose of even God creating his son to represent, they say die for the sins or whatever. I don't know a parent that is okay with sacrificing their kid. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's just the whole thing is a little off. You know what I'm saying? But we do forgive too easily, and we keep going to that. That's our go-to. And it bothers me because I don't believe in that. I don't forgive at all, 90% of the time. I'll be honest with you.
You can think back to whatever episode Forgive or Forget was. You can find it on your own.
Look for Forgive or Forget, and I say F that. You did it. You chose to do it. You premeditated. I don't care. Ain't no excuse. You did it. Live with it.
And I want to add to that, because like when it comes to Christianity, I think because it was so misused and abused, a lot of times we see it as a white man's religion when it's honestly,
Come on,
it's
pulpit
not.
poppy. Come
When
on.
the roots of Christianity go back and stem from Africa. Like before, like they talk about like Constantine, all of that. Like you trace Christianity back to Africa, and when you read the Bible, it was just distorted. It was perverted, and anytime something is misused or abused, a lot of times a lot of people will reject it because you think that the thing is bad, and it's not that the thing is bad. It's just that it was misused. Belts are supposed to hold up pants, but if you got a spanking with it, you can't now say belts are bad. Like it has a purpose, it has a use. You know what I mean? And I think that when it comes to sometimes people forget the humanity that is even shown through Christ in the Bible. Like the purpose of Christ coming was to condemn sin in the flesh. It wasn't so much. It was to condemn sin in the flesh. And Christ even had second thoughts about going to the cross. Christ had moments of humanity where he's like, yo, I really got to do this. Like, so how are we then expected as believers to just think that we're going to take abuse and not have a human reaction to a human issue? And that's what's being painted now. And I think, again, it goes back to dehumanization of black people.
And for the record, I have seen some bad belts in my day, but I won't go in that direction. But
Yeah, you and me both.
the dehumanization is where I want to go to next, because it's interesting how we can both be the bully and the bullied, right? And where America sees black people, black men specifically, as bullies, right? We're bigger, we are violent, right? We have this inherent gene where we want to make sure that people understand our power, all those things. But also as a people, they tell us that we're less than, right? How does that exist? Where's the lineage? How are you the victim and the perpetrator? How does that work? So what are you doing? Where do you, and where is the you can't absolve yourself of everything, but it seems like that's what America does. And if we do that, right? If that's what white folks do, who peddle this type of violence and rhetoric, then we go around and forgive them immediately. Like, what does that mean if they accuse us of being the bully, the bullied, and then we go ahead and what's the word?
Forgive them?
Forgive them. Like, what does that say about our self-worth?
We don't have any. And we're mentally ill. We are traumatized, and it's affecting us psychologically.
And Bart, I want to add to your comment that we know that we're seen as the bully and are bullied, but I don't think they see us. I don't think they acknowledge that we are bullied. They meaning a lot of white Americans don't understand that black people are truly bullied.
Because it's not bullying. You're supposed to be there. You're not actually
or you've done something that has caused you to be in the situation that you're in.
If you would have just complied.
Exactly. And that's the problem, I think. Because if you had that juxtaposition of a people group being both a bully and a bullied, somebody would have to say, well, wait, something's going on. But I don't think they acknowledge that bullied part enough, the harassment part enough.
But this is the thing, and I understand that. You make a great point. But let me try to zoom out a little bit. Whenever you hear about changes that need to happen on behalf of black folks, right? Any type of justice that we deserve, a lot of the default that comes from the establishment is, well, this is just the way that it's always been, right? And that tells me a few things. It tells me that you are aware that this is oppressing people. I don't want to absolve them of the idea that they don't know that they are taking justice away from people. I think it's by design, right? And we're going to talk about the people who it's affecting, right? Not the puppet masters. The puppet masters want these things to happen. I heard a story the other day about Rush Limbaugh was at a rap concert. I might be butchering this story, but it's very fascinating. Somebody that was an executive knew Rush Limbaugh very well, right? They brought Rush Limbaugh on a private jet with some rappers, and it was all bad. It was like, everybody was like, why the fuck is he here, right? So one guy got the courage enough to ask, like, yo, what's up with you, bro? Like, what do you have against my people? And he said something that guy, I forgot who it was, mentioned, and he's like, that's my character. I don't truly believe the things that I say, but there are these people who do believe in me buy my shit. It's almost like the Republicans wear sneakers too. They don't believe the people who are spreading this information don't actually believe what they're saying, but it's the other people who
Wait,
are
I think
affecting.
that was the Magic Johnson joint, wasn't that? Or Charles
It
Barkley?
was Magic Johnson.
It was
Yes,
Charles,
yes, yes,
maybe
yes,
it was
yes.
Charles Barkley. One of them two.
But all right, so flip the rapper part to basketball because it's the same thing.
Because he was the captain of the team. I think it was Charles, though. I think Charles Barkley said that.
So with that said, let me bring it on home. There are people who believe the information that is being said about us. And those people may not have the idea that we're being bullied, but the people who are crafting this shit are well aware how to divide and conquer.
I see what you're saying, and honestly, I think it's still a cop out. I think it's a cop out to say, I know I'm saying these things. I know I say things that are like polarizing, and I'm galvanizing a group that can do dangerous things, but I don't really believe it. But hey, I'm making money. To me, like, I think that's a cop out. I think that's a way of making yourself feel better about 100%. The beliefs that you're. And listen, I think to an extent, if you really don't believe something, to an extent, like there has to be a point in time where you have to make the decision on, is this responsible for me to continue to do or not?
No. Remember what
it's
I told you
that
before?
Person.
I'm about to say that's a Cleveland perspective. The money is rolling and it is not stopping, right? Like that's not going to stop somebody because they don't care about us. Is it their intention for us to be hurt? Maybe not. But so let's reverse it, right? Right now in this day and age, Fox News is as impactful to white folks as hip hop is to black folks, right? Now, the difference between hip hop and Fox News these days is these people are about that action. These people will believe these things so heavily and go act on it. Back when Rush Limbaugh was in all those people, they weren't taking action. They were just talking shit. These people are killing folks, bro. And it's like, it's mind blowing. So now to your point, Cleveland, the people who they have to take responsibility for what they're doing now because it's blatant. It's out there. They're quoting, I heard this from this person. Mm-hmm. And these people aren't being held accountable either.
Well, I agree with that because they taking that freedom of speech shit way too far. And I'll be honest with you, like, that's why they say money is the root to all evil. Like, people are selling their souls, if that's what they truly believe is something different, you sold your soul for some bread. I mean, I lived it. I learned firsthand. Like, I had a relative that sold his fucking soul for bread. Like, you know what I'm saying? And don't care about anybody else but himself and the bread. So it can happen. It happens for black people too.
Yeah, for sure.
We see the Candace Owens. We see that one chief deputy with the blacked out goatee. I can't stand from like Wisconsin, whatever the hell his name is. We see these people. We see the Jason Whitlocks. You know what I mean? Like, they believe all the same stuff that those white people do, and that's what hurts us even more because we can't even unify. Like the same way LGBTQ will unify, or the whatever against Asians will unify, or any other, or Jewish people. You can't say nothing. We can't do it because we get infiltrated over $1 and sell.
But there's also, but to be honest, there will always be outliers. The thing is, I think we pay attention to our outliers more because they're loud, and like they're so proud to go. They're so proud to go against the same people that are like black for Trump that are front and center,
like,
right behind him. but like I was talking to somebody else about this. I think I was blessed with an elevated perspective, right? And I think all of us are. Whereas I see the trick a mile away, but there are people who don't, who just fall for the trap time and time again. And most of those people you'll see in Instagram comments going crazy and like having a whole lot to say.
It's usually related to bread.
No, let's look at blacks for Trump, for instance, right? When I see that, I'm like, oh, okay, that's planted. That's not real, right? That is for white Americans to think. That is for white Americans to say, look, if they're for him, then he can't be that bad, right? That is manipulation 101. But there are people who get riled up. Why are they black people that cheer for Trump? And they really believe that it's a base of black people who really go for him. It's minor. It's small. It's a small group of people who don't mean anything. They're just in the front, right? So there are people who I really believe the propaganda that's put in front of them every day.
And that's why, like, you can't listen to too much information about any topic for too long, because everybody's perspective sneaks in. One thing you mentioned trap, and one thing that I think of is that there's so many things that bring black folks into a trap, so to speak, in terms of even the situation in Buffalo. That was one grocery store. That was the only grocery store within miles for a lot of that black community that frequented the store. So it like we talked about this before, how racism is so layered that whatever something is an issue for one group, it's amplified in the black community. Yeah. Well, okay, so now for someone who wants to do a mass shooting and hates black people, this store has all the black people, because there ain't nowhere else for them to go. They ain't going to be at the Wegmans in the ShopRite. They got to go to Tops because it's a food desert, and Tops is the only thing within reach that they can go to. So again, another layer of racism that is causing us to be sitting ducks and be vulnerable to people who want to perform these kind of malicious attacks. And that is kind of like a thing where it's like, well, how do we respond? Like, we don't respond to forgiveness. Like, to me, that's not how we respond. That's the opposite of what we need to be doing now.
It goes to Zoe's point, and that was literally going to be my next question. How do we respond specifically to mass violence, but to disrespect? And it goes to one of Zoe's points that he made today about strategizing and how do we galvanize people together. And every other group we claim is better at organizing than us. But we know what gets us in rooms together, but we never merge the activism and those things together to get people to talk. So we can get 1 million people together over music, right? But whenever there's activist music, people don't want to hear it, right? It's like you think like the things that bring people together are the things that like, nah, I'm not interested. We have to find a way to continue to have the interest in people to understand their insanity. And that's another thing. We're normalizing this insanity of, I've seen a guy that was working at CNN. He broke down on camera, and I so appreciated that, because he's like, I know that I'm going to do another one of these this year. What will it take for people to recognize that this is not normal? This shit is not normal, right? I remember the normal used to be like, I used to tell my kids when I worked in the hood, hearing gunshots at night is not normal. There's a kid in Wisconsin who would never hear that, right? But now, well, I have to tell my kids that, yo, be careful, keep your head on the swivel, because anybody can shoot the shit up at any point in time. That is insane.
And how do you even really live that way, right? Like,
you're on paranoid mode, and that's why
war zone.
Edge. The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and expect different results. So I don't even care with the hood, this, that, and the third. Like, these are white kids, they driving to the hood. But they do mass shootings in suburbs, and we strive so hard to go live in fucking suburbs.
To go live there, right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, my kids ain't safe either, regardless of whether I moved in and out. So that's the definition of insanity. It doesn't even matter where we at. We always in danger because of some cuckoo that believes some nonsense that was passed down from generation to generation. And y'all know I've been saying this since I was like 19, 20 years old, because y'all know me that long. They will not understand or feel the pain until you do unto others as was done for me. When I don't believe in killing and violence, but we're not
advocating for violence, right?
But I do believe in, if I got a choice, if it's me or you, it's you. Like, you gotta go. So I'm not gonna every day just wake up and think to do that. But if you hurt one of mine, I gotta take one of yours out. Period.
And the sick part about this all is that you just said something key. I don't go to sleep or wake up wanting violence, but there are people who do.
People do. Yeah.
And the violence is almost always directed in our direction. And that's what pisses me off. Now, that gets me back to the bully and bullied thing. Because we will fuck y'all up. Right? Like, that's the thing about it. And I do know that if you look at it, a lot of the people who do these mass shootings are little pipsqueaks, little
Like Rittenhouse,
Poindexters.
even Rittenhouse,
Right,
like,
like-
but he was at a Black Lives Matter, whatever the rally or whatever they was. It just so happened that he killed white people. That was like a fluke. He couldn't do that again if he tried.
And but he crossed state lines to protect, like, that's all bullshit. But like, it's also like, no pun intended, but the juxtaposition of these people loving our entertainment and hating us, right? What's his name? Kyle Rittenhouse loves LeBron James, he said before LeBron started talking shit about him. How you love
How
LeBron? Do you how
So yo, and here's the thing. I was watching the show on Netflix. It's a popular show on Netflix, and it's an all-white cast. I think there's like one black character on it. Very popular show. Been #1 for a while. Just wrapped up. What I noticed is
Sunset?
No. It's Ozark.
Oh, okay.
What I noticed about Ozark is that our music is played all throughout it. Ozark.
Mm-hmm.
You rarely listen to an episode of Ozark where you're not hearing like classic music like Sam Cooke or like hip hop or whatever. Mm-hmm. And what I've also noticed is during the most violent parts, it's music by a black artist that's being played. Now, I sat through a couple of episodes where I noticed it. There was one episode where like the theme of the episode was one specific song by Nas, and it was a violent episode. But then it was another episode was like, we haven't heard black music this entire time, and then once something violent happens, here comes the black music king. And so we're always, and I just say that to say, even whether that was done consciously or not, we are always related to some sort of violent behavior. Like that's what's been portrayed. Like when you see a black man walking down the street, like cross the street, like, but then you have the Rittenhouses and you have who the dudes, Dylan Roos and the guys who murdered Ahmaud Arbery. You have those guys, and like they pull up on the scene, and it's you don't have that same image of other people who look like them. So why do we wear this badge? Yo, it's all, oh, he's disturbed, he's whatever. No, he's a murderer. He's a thug. He bought a gun and he killed people. By definition, that is a thug. That is a gangster. That is a thug. So like, they're never classified in the same ways that we are for worse, more heinous crimes. This country, man, I don't have the answers. I'm really just venting, but it's just something that I noticed.
Yo, to be honest, this whole episode is about a vent, because when y'all met me, I was mild-mannered, chill. Every day that I wake up, I identify with Malcolm X more and more. Every fucking day, right?
To the party.
Right, and it's something, but it's something that, like, what they say, you were sold wolf tickets. Like, we were sold wolf tickets to what America is, right? And when you think about it, when you get to the show, right, you have the wolf tickets, you get to the show, we are the commodity, we are the entertainment, and we are the reason why people fucking love this place. And they continuously want to take from us and take us out. For what? It's not our fault you're not fucking enough. It's not our fault that we're producing more at a higher rate. It's not our fault we're more talented than you. It's not our fault we're stronger than you. It's not our fault. Get your game up.
But yo, here's the crazy part. Speaking of, like you said, we fucking more than you having kids. So y'all complaining that y'all getting outnumbered and y'all about to be in like endangered species, but you don't want to have abortions? Like,
but that's a whole other thing. All of it ties together, to be honest, and I'm about to go on another rant. From what I heard, what I read, and what I've been studying, the whole abortion thing is because the majority of people right now who are white aren't having kids at a high enough rate, right? So the people who get the abortions the most are white folks. That is very clear.
That's because they outnumber, but they don't tell us that.
Right, exactly. But there are not enough white babies at their disposal for people who can't have kids. Right, so they have to have them stop having abortions. So there's more of a surplus. Now, think about this: the white folks who want kids but can't have them, but want to adopt, they're not going to adopt a little black baby. So the people who are poor, like us, black and brown folks who are poor, who are having kids, are destined to be in the pipeline from school to jail, because they're not going to be growing up in an environment where they can be well nourished and fed and and nurtured and all those things. So statistics say that a lot of those people who grow up in those environments will go to jail. So it populates private prisons and it helps the rich white people get more money. That's the synopsis of what I got from why Roe versus Wade is about to be overturned. And it's all about money.
It's always about money. But that's like you said, we're the entertainment because they pay for us the money. You know what I mean? Who runs the hip hop community and those record labels? Not us.
Right.
We're,
French guys.
So
French
it's always
dudes.
an issue, but like you said, to circle back is like, when are we gonna like unify and like everybody always see these memes like, yo, if we all just stop buying gas, if we all just stop for one day, but nobody can do it. We can't. Like, I don't understand it. Like, just stop. Just do it for a freaking day.
It's upsetting, yo. Like, I guess another question I have is, how do we properly articulate our anger and frustration? Like, what is a proper way in order to make it so? Kill who?
No, I'm serious. Whoever's doing the damage, you got to take them out. That's the only way, because we've been doing it all these other ways and it ain't working. The definition of insanity. You know what I'm saying? We doing it. Even then, we've been doing it all these different ways. We turned the other cheek. The same person that they assassinated, they swear is the best man since sliced bread, which is Martin Luther King. They love going to MLK. Like, but this is the same person who y'all killed.
Was the most hated man in America in like
Exactly.
66.
How in 40 years? He didn't live the 40 years to change his own reputation. He was dead the whole time.
Yeah. I think, honestly, like, until there are harsher punishments for people who commit these kind of acts, I don't think anything is going to change. I was just watching, we were just talking about this. We were watching a podcast that we all watch on your leisure. They were talking to Steve Harvey. They said something light, but I think it relates to this, where they were talking about places they went to where there was very low crime. Singapore was one of the places they mentioned. Abu Dhabi was another place they mentioned. Mm-hmm. But in both of those places, the punishment for crimes is like crazy. The dude, the one dude said that like selling drugs in Singapore is punishable by death. It said as like one of the major laws. So I just say that to say, and then they don't have drug problems there, right? And my thing is, until the sentences start getting harsh and there is a real consequence for causing this kind of pain to other people's lives, I don't see it changing. I don't see it changing quickly, at least. I don't know.
Bro, we can't even get an anti-hate bill. We've been here getting hated on since before people even got here, other than the Native Americans. And you got other folks, which I'm not saying anything about. I don't wish, like I said, on anybody. But how they got an anti-hate bill in the matter of like months just from getting punched in the face is beyond me.
Here's another thing too, bro. It's not that I get black people don't unify. I get all of that. A lot of people don't unify, but a lot of people still get respect faster than black people get respect. And this is all by design. I think we all know that, like, what we all experience as black men, we see that it's all by design. But I also think we don't truly understand how powerful we truly are. I think we've been taught for so long and had these like subservient like images shown of ourselves. You see Benjamin Franklin with a white wig on and these like patent leather shoes with a buckle. And then the first time you see somebody that looks like you, they're in a cloth diaper and in chains, right? Mm-hmm. So there's this imagery that we've always seen. And I think until we truly understand how powerful we are, even now, we have enough power and strength even now to change things. And I don't know what it looks like, bro. Like, honestly, I don't. But I don't want to keep utilizing the crutches of we don't do this enough or don't do that enough. There has to be ways that we can still make an impact, even on our level, even in our friend group, even in our own internal communities.
VAR said it is because when other organizations, when other groups of people do it, you don't hear. I've yet to see a Jewish person or a Chinese person go against the grain out in public. That's the problem. We giving them the go-to because of these goats that decide to be like the Candace Owens of the world. They're like Stefan from Jenga.
Funny enough, the guy who was one of Trump's right-hand men and who is an orchestrator of a lot of the political rhetoric that's happening is a Jewish man, Stephen Miller, right? Jewish guy going against, like, if you really want to keep it a bean, a lot of the Jewish and black issues kind of go hand in hand, right?
Yeah,
so Right. So when it comes to Stephen Miller is I think he identifies as Jewish. So but they don't crucify him in that way, right? To like publicly where it's like you're going against your people. Not at large like they would a Candace
Because a lot of
Owens.
people don't even know that. He not talking.
But
Candace
also
is
it's
talking.
but it's easier to identify. It's easier to see us, right? Some folks can hide in plain sight. We don't have that luxury to do so.
Yeah.
I mean, look, like I said, we can talk about this shit for all day. The last question I have for us is, do y'all think truly that trauma is passed down from generation to generation? We know that hate
100%.
can be, but
100%.
is trauma passed down?
100%.
Absolutely.
Talk to me.
How can you be 12 years old and predisposed to diabetes and heart conditions? How can just the simple fact that you are a black woman that is pregnant, you are now a high risk pregnancy? That doesn't happen through anyone's personal decisions. That happens through trauma that has literally been passed down from generation to generation. They did a test on mice where they made a sound on a mouse, and every time they made that sound, they would shock the mouse. Now that mouse had babies. They never did it to the babies. Ever did it to the babies. They made that sound, and the babies would run and all gather in one corner without being shocked. Because the trauma was passed down. The memory of that was in their DNA. Trauma is 100% passed down from generation to generation. It is.
Yo, nah, bro, that shit gave me chills. I think we can end there. I don't know what else to say.
Well, think about it. Like the trauma that we have, even just from getting the beating, you passed it down. You whip your kid. You know what I mean? We trying now not to, but that's still trauma because you learned that when you touch this, it's hot, or you touched it and you got whooped. So you like, hey, don't do this. Don't this. Our basic order of living. A lot of the teachings is because we had some type of trauma. Now, trauma doesn't always mean extreme trauma where you're gonna like do something to yourself or you can't function. You can still function. But the fact that it goes back to your memory bank of a bad time or a pain or some sort, that's a form of trauma. We teach our kids how we operate and how to move and shake around the world about trauma. We even take other people's trauma and teach our kids. Think about we're all black men and that we're black boys and we all have black mothers that when we went out, they give us the freaking riot act on the way out the door. Why? Right. Because of the trauma that we saw from the Emmett Tills and the other kids of the world. My parents didn't go through that. Your parents, we still here living. But they saw that, and that was traumatic enough because they could relate, and they had the empathy, like, I'm a black mom, I have a black son. I got to make sure, blah, blah, blah. And here we are. We looking at it like, why are you being like that? But it's the trauma of what they were programmed.
Look, man, we don't have a solution. I wanted to just talk about what the fuck is going on. Thank y'all for your thoughts and y'all talk, because this is important for me. I didn't want it to be an event session, but I'm glad it turned into one. So, appreciate y'all, man. Now, let's get into your favorite segment.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
Hey, yo, Zoe knows this. Zoe knows that. So light skin. Zoe stay black. Yes, just y'all. Sorry, I just gotta do that. I don't know why. Anyway.
It's a tribe, y'all.
Yeah, word up. Inside, outside, come around. Who's that? Brown. Says the two brown guys. Anyway.
I knew it.
Lined you up.
Racist.
Yo, so obviously on Zoe Knows, we already discussed what happened over the weekend. It's very traumatic in Buffalo. I really feel bad for our guy, Les Trent, because he's born and raised in Buffalo, and he loves his city.
Damn.
And he definitely is not. I know he wasn't taking it too well, and it's kind of like embarrassing, like when it's just city, like really.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you think so highly because that's where you're from. For whatever reason, this Kevin Samuels stuff is still going on, and it's like the crazy people getting tattoos now. It's very strange stuff going on.
It is.
I don't understand it. Pastor Jamal Bryant had to apologize for.
He wilded out though.
Yeah, talking crazy to get his message about a dead man, and then talk about a GoFundMe that was real, wasn't real. It was just too much going on. He just should have never even touched the topic to begin with. Shout out to Frat. Achievement is what we do, and even in our death, we still, hitting the headlines. The NBA championship from last year is no longer.
Thank
Bucks
you.
lost.
Goodness. Thank goodness.
And so did the damn Phoenix Suns. And I'm kind of tight because I wanted Chris Paul to get his. I really did.
I was
But-
okay. Like I was at the we went to like at the bar, right? It wasn't really a bar. It's like a little loungy thing, but it was like midday, and we were like enjoying ourselves. And we was like, all right, we're gonna go back to the crib. Me and my boys gonna go back to the crib to watch the game. Like, all right, the game's on now. Let's just keep watching, bro. We was watching just a massacre. No sound because you at the bar, right? So it's no sound.
Yeah,
you just
can't hear shit.
looking at the score. You're like, hold on.
What
I
the
went to
hell's
bathroom.
going on?
The 30-point game before halftime. I was in shock. Like I'm like, nah, they're gonna do something at halftime. Nah, son, it just kept getting worse.
Dog, 30 points is hard as hell. 20 points is hard to come back, but like 30 is like OD, son. Like,
Like Luca had their heart in his hands, is watching the beat. like
the
what?
Indiana Jones shit. Like,
Yeah,
some
like-
wild. But yeah, that was crazy. So now we got Luca
Clean-
versus Steph and Clay.
Clean up yourself. You're bleeding.
Yeah, exactly. You dead. Like, and they are gone. So that was crazy. Giannis, he tried, but he just had a bad game and he didn't have the rest of his help.
Nobody want to
So-
see Milwaukee in the chip anyway. They're boring as hell to watch.
I mean, they won last year, but I like Giannis. So yeah, I mean, whatever. But
With them long dunks.
yeah, yo, son, is it me or does every dunk look like the end of Space Jam? Like the end with
Right.
Michael Jordan arm? Like, how
Right.
does that happen? Remember Cleveland? We were saying that.
Yeah, we was
like,
talking
yo,
about it at the crib.
We was like, yo, why is he always look like he taking off from the foul line?
For sure.
It's crazy, but yeah, that was nuts. So now we got a good matchup with Boston and Miami. Even though I hate both of them, but last night's game was firepower. It was crazy. It was just like
Yeah, it was. I
Jimmy
want
Buckets, man.
Boston to get to the chip and then lose.
to Golden State.
Whoever
Or you
whoever
want-
else gets
or
there.
you want do you have a preference?
The Mavericks
since
aren't going to
you-
win.
I was about to say
My
you out in the
preference-
Bay Area, so
But that's that. But yeah, but I also was here. See, people are a little more humble now. When I first moved here, 2015, it was Warriors is this. Then I had struggled for a long time, right? And I got tired of hearing how good they were because everybody's like they was on the top, like it was obnoxious. So I was like, I can't fuck with them. Then me and Tiff got together. Tiff is a Laker fan. I'm a LeBron fan. So now I'm a Laker fan for the rest of my life. So the Lakers and the Warriors, they got their thing, right? So I like Steph Curry. I like Draymond Green, but I can't root for the Warriors. I do think they're going to win the whole chip, though.
you don't like
'Cause
Clay?
it-
I like Clay.
Clay's cool. But like I like to watch Draymond facilitate, grab rebounds, push the ball, play
People in the
defense.
nuts.
Shut up. And I like to watch Steph light it up. He's super exciting to watch.
Yeah. I don't know. I like all three. I like the
All right,
the-
predictions.
the-
Who you guys though? Who going to win the chip?
I'm gonna go with Golden State.
I am too, unfortunately.
And
Cleveland, who
if
you
Boston makes it, it's gonna be a tough match.
Man, I got no skin in the game. I don't watch basketball enough to have a educated opinion, but I do like watching Jason Tatum. So I'm gonna go with, and my wife's from Boston. I'm gonna say Boston. I want
I'm about to
Boston
say,
to
you
take
better
it off.
say that. People gonna be like, yeah, the Miami
you
Dolphins going to take it.
you gonna be sleeping on the couch.
Right?
My
Nah,
wife is
I want
at-
Boston.
My wife is an avid Curry fan because she got caught up in the whole Aisha and Steph Webb and watching their little TV show and the
I like
Okay.
their TV show though.
the whole little
About
family
last night.
dynamic.
About
But
last
I
night.
personally think she has like she cheating on me with another light skin.
Oh, she got a celebrity crush.
Yeah, and I don't know how.
Well,
to
at least
take
he kind of looked like you a little bit
Well,
though.
yo, listen, it's funny you said that because I went on my daughter's field trip today, and these kids was like trying to bomb me up, like, yo, can I get an autograph, Steph Curry? So it was like a little white boy and a little black
I
guy.
mean,
said,
Tiff family tried to grind you up too.
they
remember?
did, she did. Yeah, I was like, yo, y'all don't even know me like that. Like, I'm trying to be polite because I would air y'all out. I would air this whole place out. But
Me
I
and
was like,
Zoe
you know what?
walked up. Me and Zoe
I
walked
heard
up to
it.
Tiff family,
can't
and they were
listen.
saying, "Who var with Steph Curry?" What?
Yeah, and I'm like, yo, that's how y'all feel? All right, cool. Whatever. I'm okay with that. The man got a lot of money. I'm all right being compared to a brother with, a
Right.
fellow light-skinned brother. But it's a little creepy. But it's like I'm indifferent because she do be going hard. Like, go Curry. She trying to teach my daughter to go Curry. And I'm like, nah, it's
Like,
a
wait a
mixed
minute.
thing. Yeah. And at the end
Oh
of the day, I'm
yeah.
like, should I be mad at this? Or like I said in the last episode, like if she was like Idris Elba type shit. Like am I
Nah,
supposed
here's a double negative, right? If if your wife began to like the Knicks but thought like Julius Randle was cute, not because of Julius Randle,
she can
but
throw
because he's your team. He's your team's person, right? Like if she found a Knicks star to be attractive and watched the games with you and fake cheer with you, but was really cheering for him, that's a violation.
Yeah, you gotta get chopped in the
Yeah.
throat.
Like if Tiff liked Jalen Hurts for the Eagles, I'll be pissed. Like I don't want to watch.
Hold up.
Go in the room. Go in the room.
Yeah. I can't. Yeah, that's a good point. All right. So if I see her root for it, then I'm gonna call y'all before I go to jail.
Kevin Hart was talking about in one of his specials. He said he caught his wife. He thought he caught his wife watching porn, but she was just really watching tall dudes doing tall things. I'm like,
It's that polar
Put things on the
opposite.
top shelf.
yeah, put stuff, reach and put stuff on the top shelf.
Terrible. Anyway, that's terrible, but that's the finals. That's what's going on, and I'm rooting for my fellow light skinned brethren over the Splash Brothers. So.
All right.
All right, look at that. We are under an hour. Phenomenal. We done got our regression out, got zone notes out the way, and we're under an hour. Thank you all for listening. That has been episode 75. Zoe, get us out of here with the Serenity Prayer.
Yes, we want to ask God to grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, like how people treat us, the courage to change the things that we can, like taking action and making them pay for it, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two.
And with that, we'll see y'all next week.